Okay, so when we're talking about mechanics, hitting, passing, serving, whatever, there are some rules that have to apply, and, some people are philosophical about what those rules are. Um, and that's okay. Everybody has an opinion, and that's what makes us all so wonderful. But when you take the laws of the universe and apply them to what we're doing, to the math, the geometry, the physics, the laws of thermodynamics, laws of group formation, all those different things, you can't avoid it. I mean, some very smart people have come before us to show us and proven. We can all dispute those laws, but we have to form a hypothesis and adhere to the scientific method to change. And that's the beauty of the world. Things change all the time and they evolve, and I'm not talking about evolution per se, but theories and thoughts evolve over time, and people disprove and reprove. I know that's probably not a word, but theories. You can't take the laws of the universe out of any equation. You just can't do it. I mean, they're set in stone, and until somebody changes them and proves them changed, they are what they are. But there's some very real things as far as strategy on a volleyball court, and I certainly don't profess to be the only expert out there, not even the highest of experts out there, but I've been around this sport for, a long time, over 30 years. And it's interesting because when you play at, a level that you play at, you see things differently. And I know it's hard for kids, it really is. But hopefully we can talk about those things and your strategy and theory about what's going on a volleyball court. You'll start noticing things. And the more you practice them, it's just like anything else, just a neurological pathway that you habituate to, the easier they become. So I hope that makes sense. So we'll just talk about a few things. And these are things we talk about all the time. It's just taking a look around to see what's going on. And it's interesting because most people will do the same things over and over again. So this is a match. I don't know where it is. It's not relevant. Someone sent it to me. But we're just going to take a look and see what we see. And I'm going to go back and forth a little bit just to kind of get an idea. And I'm just going to, constant stream of consciousness, talk, and you guys glean from it what you may. Okay, first, and I haven't seen this video, there shouldn't be this confusion on who's passing this ball. You should have talked about the seam ahead of time. They shouldn't be fighting for it. I prefer to say it's always two, better than none, but they should not be fighting for this. And a lot of people think this comes from communication at the point of contact, but it doesn't. The communication has to start ahead of time. So both of these girls should have talked about the ball that's going between them ahead of time. This girl should have said, hey, if it's between us, you get it. Or she should have said, if it's between us, you get it. But you get my point. Just looking around at other things. This girl's doing a really good job of transitioning off the net. This girl should already be outside, transitioned off the net. She has no responsibility to pass, so she should be ready to hit right now. Looks like this is a 5-1. Setter's here. There's no right side hitter, so the possibility of a dump or an attack by the setter is obvious. So just a few things. She's doing the right thing. She should be outside already. And they did fight for it. It's unfortunate, but it happens, and it's understood. Looking at the setter, she's driving with a power triangle to get to the ball, a sprinter's triangle. Doing a very good job of it. Arriving with the ball, you can see she's starting to slow down right now. You should be already set up. See this pass, get to it as fast as you can, set up, and square your shoulders to the outside. I mean, we all believe that. We've talked about deception in setters before, and all we're trying to deceive is this middle blocker, okay? These two outside blockers are stationary. We're trying to keep her in the middle as long as we can so she doesn't join an outside, either side, to form a double block. But you can see this arch in your back, the setter. This is indicative of going to her backside. Because this girl's standing here and there's no right side hitter, this is obviously going to be a slide of some sort or a C, whatever you call it. People call it different things. But this is a dead giveaway. So this girl right here, instead of standing here, should have read. It's always ball, setter, hitter. Find the ball, find the setter, see what she looks like, then find the hitter. And watch the hitter when you block, not the ball. But this girl should already be moving over. There's no opportunity for a dump here. She's standing at 10 feet. She's not going to dump this over the net, so there's nothing she's defending right now. She should be already moving this direction to form a double block. And there's no way this girl's going to get to a back five. So this is going to be some kind of backslide. And she's left-handed, for heaven's sake. That's a tough set to hit for a left-hander. Right-handers can hit this better because the right hip is back and they're going to generate torque. But again, there's too big a hole in this block. This girl should have seen that that was going to be a back set. Let's just look around on the backside too. So you're looking at defense. This libero is in the right spot. She's good and deep in the middle. It looks like she's studying the hitter, doing a pretty good job. Not sure why this girl's playing 9 feet in and this girl's 4 feet or 3 feet in, whatever that distance is. But it's always easier to move forward than it is backwards. So she should be over here and being ready to move. Okay, she doesn't have to defend this space out here unless it gets touched by the block. So she should be on the line. But again, that's a philosophical thing. Some people, I guess, would want to play defense right here. I'm not sure why. Too far in the court. The further you are away from the ball, the easier it's going to be to react to it because you're going to be able to move forward. So, again, not trying to circumvent what the coaches are telling her. I would prefer this girl be on the line and deeper so then she can move forward if she needs to. This girl's fine. You can see that these two are not in cadence. She's already going down to go up, so she's going to go up before she is. There's a really simple way to do this to find that rhythm, and that's just to count a cadence. A, B, C, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Ich, ni, sun, go. Whatever. But you got to work on the timing of these two people being together. This girl's going to be up before this one, as you can see it. And they kind of went up together, but she didn't get the depth. She didn't go down to go up. And you could still see a pretty big hole in this block. Back here, these people should be adjusting to it. You don't really have to adjust to tips. You can always run the tip down. Remember, it's always one step from all six of you and a dive to the center of the court to get there. But this girl right here should be sliding into this hole because this is probably, if this hitter here has good vision, she's going to try to find that hole. So she should have stepped into it. Not sure what the coach wants her to do here. May want her to roll under to cover a tip, but whatever. She's out of position because you can see the angle from this girl's left arm to theirs being taken away by this blocker right here. So unless she's looking for a tip or something comes off hands, she's out of position. And see, you could say this girl's in great position because the ball went right to her. But normally with younger kids, what they do is they hit it at somebody. They'll hit it right at somebody because that kid is standing in the court. You get older, you start to get a little bit more court awareness. But with younger kids, and I think these kids are sophomores in high school, they normally will hit right at somebody because this kid is standing in the court. And if you hit it to her, it's going to be in. But you don't want to hit it to people. You want to avoid people. She did a great job of passing right front. Let me go back and show you something. This girl got a late break, this setter. This is a great pass. Good height, right front. But you see she's going to be late to it. So let's go back and see how late of a jump she actually got. I'll do it one more time. So this is the same play. I'm just going back a little bit further. I'm going to go back a little further one more time and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I think you get my point. This ball was nowhere near her playing defense, where she's supposed to play defense to this side of the court. As soon as she saw that it was over here, she should have been gone. And this is the hardest part of being a setter sometimes. It's not hands. It's easy to teach somebody hands. It's footwork on the court and when to break and when to, where to go, and then the deception you have as a setter and all those different things we always talk about with all of you guys. So she's got a late break. I already saw it, so I know that she's not using her hands. This girl's out of position. She's too far inside. She didn't transition off fast enough. She may be aware of it, so she's not going to go to this girl to set this ball. And again, this is the only person you're trying to deceive, the middle blocker, all right? So based on just the way that this scene or this picture looks right now, she's probably going to go to her back set. And what that means is this girl should already be moving over there. Take one. Yeah, she could still set it to the outside hitter from this spot. She could roll it over the top and get it over there. But now you see she's leaning the other direction. Her body language is going this way. So this is definitely going to the back five. She's leaning, this middle blocker is leaning in that direction. Really, if you take the time to study, just briefly look at people and connect to people on the other side of the net, you get a feel for where things are going to go and what is going to happen before it happens. And then it gives you time to think, time to change, time to adapt. Over time, it gets a lot easier, but you got to practice it. You just have to practice looking and studying. Okay, so she did set it to her back five. It's way outside. She did a great job of driving. That looks wonderful. Big first step, driving to get the outside. But this set is going to be, it's already here. It's going to be outside. And remember, the further outside the antenna of the ball goes, the further inside the block gets set up. It's just because of the geometry of where the ball is set in proximity to the antenna. So she's not going to be able to hit the line if it's outside the antenna. So you got to move the block in, not out. But she's driving out, and it looks to me like she's going to go all the way to the pin, to the antenna. So she's probably going to set up her block right here on the line. And she didn't. She was a good 2 feet in front of it. This is no man's land, okay? This middle blocker did a really good job of driving to get out to the outside, but she didn't get there. But standing next to the net, she's defending nothing. Absolutely nothing. What she should have done, and again, we've talked about this endlessly as a middle blocker, get as far as you can, and then just go straight up. Take some first day with a new mouth. Take some part of the court away. So even if you can't get out there to close this hole, take some part of the court behind you away with your block. Get as far as you can, go straight up. Don't drift, because then you lose your posture. As soon as you start going sideways with your hands come down, okay? Get as far as you can, go straight up. And just like we talked about this girl before, stepping into the hole, if this middle blocker would have gone straight up right here, this girl could have stepped into that hole precisely and be in a much better position to defend that attack. These things are not hard to see, you guys, when you stop and look at them. Now, granted, I've got the picture stopped, and you can't do it this easily all the time. I mean, I get to look around and everything's still right now. But really, if you pay attention to the little things, it makes this game significantly easier to play and be successful at. Okay, out of position on defense. Find it hard to believe this is where she's supposed to play. Should be on the line or somewhere near it. She's too shallow. The girl hit the ball, so she didn't tip it. But if you start here and you see a tip, then you can move forward. And human beings are forward animals, not backward animals. Just look the way your body's designed. We weren't made to go backwards, made to go forward. So if she'd have started way over here, then she could have stepped in instead of lunging to get to this ball, which is a tougher pass. But again, that's having discipline in your movements. I don't know what coach wants her to do, and there may be a very real reason why she wants her that far into the court. But it's going to be more difficult for her to defend if she has to move both directions versus only move one direction from the line over. That just has to make sense. Not a very good pass. The mere fact that the setter right now is going for this ball indicates that she did not call for help. So this girl's unaware of if she's even going to get there. Again, we've talked about this, setters. You guys are the quarterbacks. You must communicate all the time. So if you're going for this ball and she's going for this ball, it leads me to believe that this girl didn't hear a peep from this one. And then you see what this girl did. She's not a setter, okay, and she's a middle. And I have a lot of respect for middle blockers. But where did she set it? She set it to no one. This is a free ball, obviously. Can't give free balls away, you guys. You got to put pace on the ball all the time to put the pressure. Remember, it's about them being uncomfortable, okay? This free ball is not uncomfortable to anybody on this side of the net over here. She should have set this ball out here. Again, she's out of position, should be outside getting ready to hit. Okay, this is a 3. 32, I guess people call it. I call it a 3, whatever you want to call it. This girl has the hardest job on the court, next to a setter. Okay, but this is playing middle's tough. It really is. It's very difficult. You got to pay attention. You got to move in either direction. This 3 and her being out of position, because you can see this girl's here, is not her fault. It's hers. You should have seen that 3 coming and let her know. Just yell it out. Just tell her what's happening. And she would have been there in a little bit more appropriate time. And you see that because she's so late and she's actually drifting over to block it, this girl on the other side, this middle, has all this real estate. And, you know, while we're on the subject, did you have time to see this 3? Because if you see a ball, you go block the ball. Should have went over and helped her to join her. So this play is broken down pretty significantly. And I still insist. You see where it landed right here. If she's starting on the line playing deep, she's too shallow. She's at 3-meter line, 10-foot line. Should be on the line and working this direction. All 3 of you should be on the line and working in this direction. Okay, so you're coming towards the middle versus having to move away from, away to the outside of the court. I wish I could show you the math. I'd have to show you. Based on the pace on the ball and where you're standing, if she were standing back here further, she has more time and distance and reaction time to dig this ball. But there's a direct correlation between how hard it's hit and how much time you have. But if you're out of position to play, you've already put yourself at a distinct disadvantage. So, again, I don't know what coaches are telling them as far as where to play defense. I really think that these 3 people should be further back all the way around. And if you guys watch pretty high-level volleyball, you'll see it. The defenders behind the front row blockers are always back. They're always deep. It's easier to come forward than it is to go backwards. So everybody starts deep. So that's that. I'm going to pause it here. Again, the thought is not to be nitpicky to these kids that are playing. They're doing the best they can. The thought is to start paying attention to different things and little things. And once you do, and I promise you can do it, it just takes time and practice to pay attention to the simple things that are going on a volleyball court at all the time, at any time. And once you do, it's really an interesting phenomenon, because once you start paying attention to how people are set up, how their feet are working, how their arms are, how they're, virtually everything that's going on, things slow down, and it becomes much easier to play and be competitive. And that's one of the main things that I want you guys to understand, minus, the confidence level and, self-efficacy that you have on the court, but really study what's going on. Now, granted, it's very difficult to do while you're playing, but you can pick up times of study. These people are all watching. You guys all go read your Tiger Beat magazine and eat your gummy worms between matches, but spend 5 minutes at a match and a tournament. Watch the varsity. If you're JV, watch the varsity, and just kind of pay attention to it, and your eyes get trained to seeing those types of things. The little tiny issues, the little things that make all the difference in the world. And you'll get better at it. You just got to practice it. All right, there you are.